Number 2, created new flame. Although it is permitted to kindle flame on Yom Tov, the sages forbade creating new fire on Yom Tov. That is to make fire where none previously existed. And thus it is forbidden to strike a match or hit a piece of metal until it becomes red hot. For this reason, as well as others, it is forbidden to turn on electric light or appliance on Yom Tov. One may not light something from the existing fire. One may only light something from existing fire. The following are some practical methods of lighting fire on Yom Tov. So we're going to get practical methods, but let's see from the beginning the definition again, and we're going to explain. Although it is permitted to kindle flame on Yom Tov, the sages forbid creating new fire on Yom Tov. There is to make a fire where none previously existed. So basically, if you take fire from one place, for example, you have a candle, 24 hours candle, not 20, they call it 26, usually 26 hours candle, right? So you take the fire from there and you light, for example, your gas stove, right? Hopefully you turn off your electric ignition, right? So it's not considered to be a new fire, it's just extension of existing fire. But you can take match. There is no problem. Somehow, like several people asked me, I'm not sure why it was confusion. I'm not sure, but they thought that they cannot use match. They have to use like or other side of the match. So like I said, what is the difference, right? So you can use match. There is no problem, right? Because you transfer fire from one place to another, but you cannot strike a match to make new fire. That's what is prohibited. Okay. Thus, it is forbidden to strike a match or heat up the piece of metal until it becomes red hot. Right. So all of this like heaters and stuff like that. Red hot and incandescent bulbs would be like good example, right? And even like this, what is it? Incandescent bulbs, like I don't know, like these white tubes, right? These bulbs, there is also a problem. They have this heating element, right? That becomes red hot, white hot. It becomes white hot. Also a problem. For this reason, as well as others, it is prohibited to turn on the electric light or appliances on Yom Tov. Right? When it's pre-programmed, there is a different case. But like to turn on the switch on Yom Tov would be forbidden. One may only light something from existing flame. The following are some practical methods of lighting fire on Yom Tov. Okay, so basically we must have light throughout the whole Yom Tov. So even if you're not going to cook anything, still you need to warm up food first of all, and second of all you need light pre-existing light to light the candles for the second day, right? So otherwise you would not be allowed to light the candles. That's another thing. So have this one day candles basically. Continue. Or it's if somebody did not have somehow, right? So a person used long candles, and some of them, I think some of them like I think they're very expensive, but they can go like up to 7 hours. Right, 7 hours. So if you like, if you have a few of them, 3 of them, yeah, no problem. You can use them. Okay. So continue. A. Lighting from existing flame. A gas stove or oven that has a pilot light which burns constantly, may be turned on because the gas will be ignited by existing flame. So that's a very good example. Okay, that's an olden technology, right? They do have pilot lights, but sometimes, like if you don't pay attention, and the pilot light would go off, so the gas would come into your house. That's also an issue with these lights. So that's why I think they switched to electronic ignition. Okay, but if you have such a stove, like this kind of stove, there is no problem. So there's a pre-existing light you can always turn on, and then you can use it. For example, that pilot light, and take and go light your candles. Okay, so in this case you would not need these 24 hours candles, which is good. Continue. However, a stove or an oven that is ignited by electronic ignition may not be turned on because of the, among other reasons, creation of new flame. Okay, so this electronics stove, when somebody asked me, so they have a Shabbat mode, right? When it is the electronic ignition like turn off, so you can turn and the gas is going to go because it's like mechanical, right? But there are no sparks. So if you have a stove like that, or you can like unplug it or something, even with this electronic ignition, there is no problem. So you can use this stove on Shabbos. So the only problem is to use it as it is. That's the issue. Okay. Continue. Likewise, lighting a match from a lit candle is permitted. Okay. Okay. So again, even though you're going to transfer this fire to somewhere else, it's not new fire. It's an extension of existing fire. A new fire is considered like the fire never existed, and you strike a match on, or use a lighter or something. That would be new flame. Or with electronic ignition, right? So, for example, you turn and it was a spark and create new fire. Okay. Likewise, lighting a match from the lit candle is permitted. However, when lighting a match from a fire, one should place the match directly into the flame, and not to ignite it from the heat of the flame. Okay, that's very interesting. Lighting from the heat of the flame cannot be considered simply extending of existing fire. Rather, it is viewed as creating new fire. So it's very, very interesting. So, this point. So you have to, like, for example, you have a candle is burning or something. So you have to stick this match next to the wick, right? So not too far away, because the match is like from the heat, the wood is going to go on fire. But it was not because of the fire, because of from the heat. It's very interesting. Okay, so let's see B. Lighting from electric coil. It is permitted to light a candle and cigarette. Not chapter 14, so we're going to get it, concerning permissibility smoking on Yom Tov. Okay, so it is permitted to light candle, a cigarette or match from the red hot coil of electric stove. And I think they're talking about like older stuff. So today they make all of the electric stove, but they covered the element is covered by glass. So it's would not be very practical. I'm not sure if you can light from the glass itself, but you see the glass is going to be, it's not a fire. So it would be like from the heat of the fire. That's the issue. Since the coal is red hot, it has the status of existing flame. As mentioned above, the candle or match should be lit by placing directly on the coil. So meaning from the fire itself, not from the heat, not by lighting from the heat of the coil. So it's very, very important. And C, enlarging or prolonging the existing flame. It is permitted to enlarge the flame or to prolong the amount of the time it will burn. Thus, turning up the fire on an already lit gas stove or adding fuel to the oil lamp is permitted. So you cooking something, right? And you want to add right on a gas stove, so you want to add more heat. There is no problem. So I mean, even like on Shabbos, it would for sure be forbidden, right? Because it's going to be kindling. So even though like it was already kindled, but for you enlarging this the flame, it's 100% kindling, 100% forbidden. But here it's not considered a new flame, obviously, right? Because it's existing flame, so enlargement would be allowed. Or, for example, they want to pour more oil into the lamp. Also, no problem. Okay. Any questions on what you said?
Rabbi?
Yes.
I believe there are these things called smart sockets, electric sockets, where we can plug things in, and they can be programmed before Yom Tov digitally. So I was wondering if, let's say, we have, I don't know, like a hot plate, or not a hot plate, like let's say like an electric stove, and we plug this on, and we program the whole thing before Yom Tov, say to go on and off randomly, or at specific times during Yom Tov. Would we be allowed to turn on a match with this red hot coil if it was not turned on by ourselves, but it was programmed before the whole thing started?
So once it's on, so you can you can light your match. Yes. Okay. What else?
So even if it was turned on by the socket that was
the socket is a timer. They call it a timer. So not according to all of the opinions. So there is some stricter opinion. They say that you should use the timer only to turn off the appliance. Right. So for example, if you finish eating at 12:30 in Yom Tov day and you no longer need it, so you can turn off. So that's the leniency, for example. But or on Shabbos, doesn't matter here, right? But this stricter opinion, they say not allowed. So you have to leave it as a gas stove for the whole day. So in the case of the Yom Tov, even for 2 days. But other more lenient opinion, they say if it was programmed and it was for Shabbos needs and the Yom Tov needs, and people would afraid to leave it like that, and it's well pre-programmed, so they would allow. So we see like what do we do practically? That's a very good question. So we see what is our situation is. So if it's allowed not to turn, if it's possible for us not to turn off, right, and not to turn on Shabbos completely or Yom Tov, so it would be preferable. If not, for whatever reason, the wife is afraid, she's I'm not going to go to bed. So I'm so afraid that it's going to go on fire, for example. So in this case, yes. So you would be allowed to set it so that it can turn off. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome. What else?